recording.
And just excuse me while we get things going here, because we did want to see everybody's lovely face right at the beginning. And you don't have to hide because we're going to hide you. How about that? All right, we'll get started. And if any other people are jumping on, either Chantal or I will let them come in as we go through. And I do want to welcome you, because I know there's, I was going to say there's so much on TV to watch. There isn't anything on TV to watch unless you're a mad tennis fan. So this is a much better way to spend your Monday evening. That's right, Chantal, isn't it? What we're going to talk about over the next hour is how to create a webinar funnel and increase conversions. And if that is something that you've been really thinking about doing, or you have been doing and maybe not getting the results you wanted, or you've been thinking about doing, can you just pop in the chat as to, and we'll both monitor both the chats as well, as yes, I've been doing it, no, I haven't, but it's something I'm interested in, or no, I'm just here because we think you're awesome and we want to listen to both of you. Whatever it is, hopefully it's a little bit of all three of those. When you talk about funnels, I mean, people talk about funnels all the time within business, Guy. I know that I need to have some way that I can attract more clients with doing less work, because if we're doing one-on-ones all the time, we know that it takes up a lot of energy. And the process looks simple, and we're going to go through a whole lot of steps through that. But what the main and first part is to be able to create awareness for what your funnel is. And in this case, obviously, it's a webinar. You need to then not just awareness, but interest. So you get people registered and people turning up. The third part is, how do you create something where people make a decision to work with you, or decision to be inspired by you? Whatever reason you might be wanting to put a webinar together, it may not be to sell something, it may be just to inspire people. And then how you get people to take action. That's one of the trickiest parts I think people are the most uncomfortable with, but we'll go through some steps and we'll teach you how to do that well on the webinar tonight. And this part here, Chantal, you're going to run through this.
Yeah, after we've just lost the screen. Can everybody see the PowerPoint presentation? I'm just checking it hasn't disappeared.
Just pop in the chat if you can.
You can just see the presentation. It just disappeared for a bit, so I just want to check you can see it.
Just pop, yep, in there if you can.
All thumbs up. All right, cool, awesome. So we just want to check that we got the right people in the room, okay? Because I love webinars and I love talking, but I do love webinars because I think that they're a great opportunity for business owners. So for me, you're the right person to be doing these webinars right now. If you've been spending a fortune on advertising and not getting results, or simply just marketing and not getting any results at all. And if that's you, I'd love to put it in the chat box below. I know the latest client I've started working with was paying $3,000 a week over the last 3 months and not generating one client. The second step is you just don't understand the techie side of things and the process behind it. So maybe you've thought about a webinar and gone, yeah, cool, I want to put it all together, but you simply think it's too techie. And everyone knows I'm completely a non-techie person, but I'm still managed to do these things because I like to do things simply and easily. Maybe you are doing webinars, or you're doing presentations, or even maybe you're marketing online, but you're just not getting the right people. You know, the people that spend money are all time wasters. None of us want time wasters. No, we don't have time for time wasters. And we certainly want clients that have got money to spend with you. Maybe you're not clear on your call to action or where you want people to go. A lot of times people will come to me and they'll go, I've got this thing, or I've got this offer, and I want to do this and I want to do that, but I actually don't know what I'm selling or how to present what I'm selling. And this is a huge one when it comes to webinars. You want to give it all away for free, because this is what we often hear online. A lot of coaches or a lot of people spruik that you've just got to give it all away. And that's actually not the truth. It's actually a specific formula and process, which we're going to go through tonight, so that you don't give it all away and people can actually do it themselves. And then the last one, and this is most people, you just feel icky when it comes to the sale at the end. And at the end of the day, we're business owners and we want to make a sale, right?
Oh, this is a little bit about me. So there's people on here that know me, and there's people on here that know Chantal, and some that know both of us. Now, my background was general manager of sales for a multi-million-dollar company, and I took sales in that business to from $3 to $8 million in just a couple of years. And it was just selling items that were worth, it was a first aid industry. So we're selling items that are worth about $1 each on average. So that was quite a lot of items, and working with my sales team. So that's where my expertise particularly sits, is how to connect with people and how to have that conversation in sales. Because I have a little line that I like to say is that you're really not selling anything, but you're getting people to buy from you because of the whole know, like, and trust. So I've been working in sales for a very long time, and not just my results, but it's been the results of my clients as well. A couple of things, I have a podcast, I've written a couple of books as well. So I know there's some people online here who've got a copy of one or both of my books. I was asked by Koshi's Business Builders to contribute to his website and his blogs for his clients. And the gym wear, I was just looking at I got to get not distracted by the comments over on the side, because they're it's nominated for 9 the X Business Awards. I've been in business for either running other people's businesses or in my own business, helping people to succeed in business for just, let's go over 30 years, but it's been a very, very long time. And that's what I love about it, is seeing people succeed. And that's why I love running webinars, because I give a lot of information away for people to be able to succeed. And one or two of my clients in particular, they wanted to put together a webinar that they could present to their clients. They got the presentation right, and they ended up getting winning awards and getting a trip to LA because Vegas, because they were so successful. It's just a little bit of credibility. I think that's for those people that don't know me. There's a lot of background in what I've done and how I do it. So I just want to let you know that, oh yeah, I know how to do this. This is pretty cool. And as does Chantal.
Nah, I'm not as fancy as Janeen. Completely non-techie, completely self-taught, did things backwards. I'm a mum of 3 daughters. I can't believe they're teenagers now. My one twin just got a license, so she's Ubering the other one around at the moment. But when I moved here in 2008, I knew nobody, had absolutely no money. My 3 daughters were under the age of 5, and basically taught myself online marketing and grew a 6-figure business. So not as fancy as Janeen, went from broken unknown to building a 6-figure business with no tech experience or marketing background, and without paying for any advertising. At this point, still not paying for any advertising at all. I do things backwards. I did go and get a diploma in social media marketing and email marketing. But what I realized was that I created a program for business owners who are struggling with this new era of online marketing and managing their own marketing, and when they simply don't know what to do. So in business, I have recently just been nominated top 10 business strategists in Australia for 2020. I've helped over 1,000 business owners worldwide get income producing results, because for me, that's what I'm about. I'm not about ego metrics. I'm about it actually resulting in money and in clients. So some of the results we've had, many businesses I've worked with don't have a website, they don't have emails, or they haven't have established social media accounts. And we've had results like a $23,000 email campaign that was like done in 2 minutes. And we got $23,000 in 2 minutes. We've had $1,000 of orders from a dead email list. We've had a client get a $3,200 client when they were new online. And we've had others that have got $5,000 weeks when they're originally making $5,000 years. So I am now an international award-winning strategist, which is incredibly important because it's a strategy, and a coach. And I've been featured on Channel 9 News, multiple other media for my out-of-the-box marketing, education, and innovation for startups to big business. I'm also an Amazon book author, podcast guest, speaker, and blog writer. Some of the results I've got, Damien, and this is wrong. This is a lie right here, because over here it says 55 registered so far for tonight's webinar, which kicks off. And dear Damien is now getting 90 to 120 at each of his webinars, and he's completely sold out of his one-on-one programs and now has to do a membership group program. But a couple of other results there from clients showing that I'm not just saying it, but it actually has happened. It is possible. There we go. Yep.
Okay. Oh, there we are. Sorry, jumping all over the place. They're really a little sensitive thing. The reason I've got this question mark here is because I mentioned earlier, for those that were on, is that if you've got any questions, we would love to have you answer your questions. We may answer them as we go along, but just in case we don't, please write them down, because if you do that, then you'll remember and we'll be able to help you when we get to the end, because I'm sure there's going to be questions. It's a very big topic. The other thing is that we've got something really special for you as a giveaway for everyone who stays on to the end. So please do that as well. You're going to miss out on that giveaway. You miss out on a ton of information. So stay on to the end. We're going to really work hard to keep it within the time frame that we promised we would. It is going to be very, very fast paced. We're going to ask you to participate because it gets a bit lonely now that we can't see anybody anyway. We're just talking to the camera. It gets a bit lonely, and we need, if we ask questions, we'd love you to pop it in the chat box and your answers in there, and we'll check on that as we go. All right, let's get started. Our topic. So you know a little bit about us, you know what we're going to do, you know the reasons why it would be advantage to pay to stay on, and let's get started. The overview of the steps here. The first step we're going to talk about, and we'll go into depth on all of these. You might want to take notes on these as you go through. If we jump over slides, I guarantee you'll be able to pick them up on other slides as well, is how to use a webinar funnel to grow your business. The second step is how to create a high energy presentation. Third one is why you must follow a formula and a proven process. And fourth one, how to market and set up the tech side of your webinar. And as Chantal said, for a non-techie person, which is so important, because I think we both sit into that world a bit, Chantal, and how to put it all together and so people show up and spend. They're the 5 points that we're going to cover in the presentation today. And let's get started. Step one. Chantal.
Excellent. Step one is how to use a webinar funnel to grow your business. And I love that F word. A funnel, in simple terms, is really just a customer journey. So it is the whole process of putting together that webinar to grow your business. Firstly, you've got to know who is it for. And seriously, you've got to imagine that you want to date the person. You've got to know them so well, their likes, their dislikes, and their pain points, so that you can market to them and create a webinar that's actually going to get them to show up and spend. So why do you need to do this webinar? A lot of people go, it's for visibility. They go, oh, it's to grow my profile, to get people to know, like, and trust. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it is to get a sale. It is to get more customers, more paying customers. So what is the potential in this? I know Janeen does a lot of webinars that usually around the $500 mark. And that's quite an easy sale or offer to be able to present on a webinar when people do know, like, and trust you. But at the end of the day, you've got to look at your offer, look at how many people you can get to show up, and then see how many people you can actually sell into your program. The value of repurposing your content. So when you do a webinar, you don't just do the webinar and then it just sits inside your little project folder and it never comes out again. The potential for repurposing that content is really huge. Also, if suddenly somebody contacts you and says, could you put on a webinar? You actually had a webinar at your fingertips to be able to quickly do. You don't have to suddenly put together a 50 PowerPoint presentation. So there we go, having a presentation on tap as a lead generation tool. And that's exactly what it is. It's a lead or a client generation tool. So this is a pretty picture. And I wish it was this simple, but this is actually from Russell Brunson, where they go the sales webinar funnel, where they go, someone's going to register. they're going to get a confirmation page with the date and the time. They'll attend the webinar and you'll make money. But there's a lot of other pieces that are actually missing from this. And I said to Janeen, oh, can we just put all the other things on here? And Janeen was like, it'll be too filled. It'll be too messy. You won't see it. But at the end of the day, to get the registrations, you've got to effectively communicate what the webinar is about to be able to get people to register for the event. Once they register, you've got to be able to take that registration or use a particular tool like Zoom or Humanitics or Eventbrite to be able to take that registration. And then you've got to send them a confirmation page, which may include your email marketing, along with reminders to actually get them to show up for that webinar. Because a lot of people get busy and they go, well, you know what, I'll just go to the next webinar. And the whole purpose is to actually get them to show up. So you've got to nurture them in email sequences. And then some of them may buy or not buy. And if they don't buy, you've got to continue to nurture so you can get a sale. And if they do buy, you've got to be able to take payment from them as quickly as possible. So it's a little bit more complex than this beautifully presented picture over here.
Chantal, I'd love for people who have run webinars to pop a yes in the chat box. So we just have an idea of who's already been running some webinars. That would be really useful.
Yeah, excellent. And maybe some successes, like if you've had any sales, like for myself, I personally sell $2,500 programs, usually in my webinars. So it'd be interesting to know how much money have you made from webinars?
Yeah, that's good. So there's a lot of questions on this particular page for you, Chantal.
Yeah, thank you. So at the end of the day, why the webinar? What are you personally hoping to achieve? The business owner always has to have an intention or a strategy as to what they're hoping to achieve from this webinar.
And Chantal, just on this, these questions here, when we started putting this webinar together, because we wanted to figure out, well, why the heck we were doing it, these are the questions we ran through. So this is really important that people take note of these questions, because you need to go through this to see whether you can, it's actually worthwhile.
100%. And as I said, who is your audience? You know, you've got to stalk them like you want to date them, and you've got to know where they hang out, and you've got to know how to communicate to them, because when you go out and you do your social media marketing or email marketing, you have to be able to compel them through your content to be able to get them to show up.
Oh.
So what are the pain points of your audience? That's really important, because whatever they're suffering with, whatever their pain is, you need to be offering them that solution so that your content is customer and outcome focused. So what problem are you solving? And that's the problem that you're solving for them. And what title will tell the story and grab their attention? And often you could actually go to your audience and ask them, which title do you prefer? Do you prefer this title or do you prefer that title? Actually survey it and see from your customers which one they'll like, because often what you think you like is not really what they'll like. And you know what? Don't get cryptic. Too many people get cryptic and they call it some fancy wild name, and it makes no sense to the customer. What formula will you use to create the webinar? And this is really important, because at the end of the day, this can get really complex. And I don't like complicated, and I like really simple. And I mean, this is a 50-something, you know, PowerPoint presentation, page presentation. So a lot of you are going, whoa, that must have taken forever to create. Well, it actually didn't, because we have them templated. We literally could go in, follow the formula, follow the process, and create a webinar. How are you going to plan your content? And those of you who've worked with me before, it's all about putting together that content bucket and go, well, how are we going to compel or get a yes to people to hand over the email address and actually attend that webinar? And then what will your PowerPoint presentation look like? Like, a lot of people are into perfection, and progress is so much more important than perfection. However, you'd still need to have a professional presence when you are presenting, especially if you are wanting to ask for an expensive offer at the end. How can you effectively communicate to your audience? And this is really important, because effective communication is really understanding them and compelling a yes from them. And I see we've got some people that are into hypnotherapy, and I've also got my hypnotherapy qualifications, and they will understand the importance of that effective communication. How do you get people to show up through social media and email marketing? And that comes down again to the nurturing, that know, like, and trust, and nurturing them and holding their hand through the entire process So they show up and they spend. And how do you get people to remain attentive and stay on to the end? So hopefully, like you don't fall asleep. How to present your offer and get them to buy. So this is a bit of a tricky one, and people often struggle with this one a little bit. So do stay till the end, and hopefully you can see how we do it and see how it can work. And then what are the next steps after the webinar? Because at the end of the webinar, believe it or not, there's still a formula and a process for afterwards, because some people are going to say, yes, I'm in. Others are going to go, no, I have a couple of questions. So what is your process to keep those people engaged and to get them to spend?
I'm just wondering whether anyone sort of thought there was this many steps into doing this. But once you know these steps and you apply this, then you're going to hit the right market. You're going to get it right. Hey, Chantal.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. How do you create a high energy presentation? I had to present to over 200 accountants without being able to see a single person for an hour on a sales webinar one night. And it was just 100% content, and trying to keep that energy up. And so it's the visual as well as the way you deliver the presentation. But we're talking about the visual at the moment, and we're going to keep coming back to this formula. There is a formula to putting a presentation together. It is about the content. Is the content of interest to your audience? It's such an important factor that content is not too much content. Look, I reckon that nearly everyone on here will have been to a webinar presentation where the whole thing was all salesy all the way through, and it was no content. You go, well, hang on, what? I haven't got any notes. I don't know. I haven't got anything to take away with me. And that's what they're getting, that balance right about the content and what content you use, how you design it. How does your webinar look? How does it look to your audience? And how will that keep people's attention as well? You'll notice we've got lots of images as we go through, because images tell the story. If there's lots of words, then the words are great, because your people who are watching will want to be able to take notes from the words, but they also want images to keep them alert. And oh, there we go, images. That makes a difference. It really does make a difference to how it looks. And then the delivery, and I'm going to be talking about that in a bit too, is how you deliver it and how you stay full of energy and, you know, make sure that people go, wow, that was great, I stayed alert. And we'll move on to the next one. So the formula. First part is the relevance. Some of these things you're going to be thinking, haven't I just said that? And there's a reason that we're repeating it in a whole lot of different ways, is so that it gets heard and you take it in. The relevance of what you're delivering to the people who've come on, and how you've marketed it all has to be very congruent. Otherwise, people going, well, that's not really what I thought I was going to get. So making sure that it's really relevant. You need to build your authority. So you notice right at the beginning, we did exactly that. We gave a little bit of information about ourselves, so that people who didn't know either of us might say, okay, I didn't realize that, you know, wow, they know how to do that. They've got that authority. They've helped other people do it, or they've helped become successful themselves. You need a way to establish your authority. And if you looked at Chantal's and mine, they were quite different, as she said. So there'll be definitely ways you can do that. And when I work with clients, without a doubt, they'll go, oh, I don't have any authority on this. I find it, and it's amazing that they're actually pretty stoked about how they feel. The content again, so then the content comes in. A lot of people start thinking about the content first, but it's the other things are more important, is the audience for the relevance. Oh, we got authority twice. You know, the reason I've got this, I've actually got it a couple more times, is because throughout the presentation, you need to be able to, again, not just have the authority as the first part where you talk about yourself, but through the information that you give, and people can hear what you're saying and you'll listen to your presentation, look at what you're doing, and they'll go, that person really knows what they're talking about. So you're constantly demonstrating that you are an authority on that subject. And again, content throughout the presentation. So you're looking at this formula now, the relevance, who is for, authority, content, authority again. So again, when you get towards the end, you'll see that we have done exactly this with the presentation, just looking at some more testimonials going, you know what, they really do know what they're talking about. And then you do your offer. So that's a really simple rundown of the formula. We'll go into a little bit more in depth with that. The content, what content have you got and how are you going to put it together? You'll see that we have 5 points tonight. For some reason, our brain works with odd numbers better than even numbers. So if you're looking at your content, if you have 3, 5, and 7, 7 starts to get too many points. 3 or 5 points are great because people can take that in and take it away and possibly apply it. See, so for people who are thinking, you know, when we get to the end of the offer, go, yep, great, I want to know how to do this well. But there'll be other people who think, you know, I can do some of this myself, and they can apply a little bit of it and get some results with it as well. We want to make sure that you can do that. So figuring out how you're structuring your content and whether it's 3 or 5 bits of information. Just stick with those. The design of your presentation. You talk about the style of it. We've got the little flashy lightning across the top, and we're reminding you on nearly every slide what we're here to do is how to create a webinar funnel and increase conversions. You've got to look at what images, whether the images are relevant or not relevant. I love putting lots of images in all my presentations. Sometimes there's very few words. There's mostly images throughout. The font that you're using, it's important to have everything congruent. Some things work better. The size of your font. If you haven't put a PowerPoint presentation together or at any stage, then this is what I help people do, is to put the presentation together so it looks pretty spiffy. You need to think about your animations. Sometimes people get very excited about animations and they have things flying in, flying out everywhere. Just have things appearing like we're doing 1 at a time here or 3 at a time. Transitions. On this particular presentation, we're not transitioning from slide to slide. Sometimes you can do that. Again, you don't want too many things that are taking away from what's on the page and what you're saying. Thinking about the colors you're using, we use our branded colors on this presentation tonight, and just making everything consistent all the way through. And it's one of the things you go through and I do at the end when I finish the presentation, is to go through and make sure I've got the same font, I've got the same size, I've got the same color, and then everything starts to look a little bit, it looks consistent, it looks professional then. We're looking at the images that you are using. You know, is that image relevant for what you are talking about? Now, if I was talking about climate change, then this would probably be a very cool image to use. If I was talking about meditation and how to relax and chill out, then this might be an image I would use. So thinking about the images and what you are trying to message that you're trying to get across, and make sure that those images are very relevant to what you're doing. The delivery. You need to be confident in what you're doing, and especially when you get to that sales offer at the end, because look, I never hesitate with the sales offer. I know when I help people, it makes a difference to their business. Is that right for you, Chantal? When you help people, it makes a difference to their business?
Yeah, 100%. It's actually serving, it's not selling. And I know people are freaking out right now when they see the word confident, going, oh my gosh, I'm so not confident. How am I going to do this? But honestly, practice makes perfect. You just got to get out and you've just got to do it. And with every presentation that you do, you'll become more confident.
Oh, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, weren't we? And I said, if you look back at my recorded webinars that I ran 5 years ago, they're certainly not the same as what they are now. But you know what? My slides are. They're nearly exactly the same. I've tweaked them a little bit, but I've got the slides, I've got the formula. I don't have to do that. I've just changed in the way I have delivered them. So yeah, being confident in you, but being confident in your offer, because that is about serving somebody. And I know we make a difference to people. High energy. You have to be a lot higher energy online than you do in front of an audience. I do a lot of keynote presentations and I'm on stage, and I'm certainly not a Tony Robbins, you know, all out there, yay, raha. But you do have to up the energy when you are online, and particularly when you're not on camera like we are at the moment. If you need some help with some presentation speaking and to get rid of the filler words, the ums and ahs, and that way people aren't distracted by them. That's the main reason is if you hear too many of them, people don't hear what you're saying, they just hear all those filler words. Enunciate and speak clearly, that's really important. And again, keep the volume and intensity up. The pace, if you want to get enthusiastic, then you speak a lot faster. But if you want to make a point about something, you speak slower, and to have some variation in your pace and knowing how to do that well. And pause, it is the most effective way to get people to pay attention. You just pause. And the pitch of your voice, changing that up a little bit, high, low. Oh, pause again because I love it so much. And gestures, what gestures can you use when you're delivering something online? You know where your gestures are. It's all in your facial expressions. And again, I've got no filler words because it's something that drives me crazy as a presentation coach. It's something I help people eliminate, and hence why I put that one down there a couple of times. Step 3, why you must follow a formula and a proven process. And that's one of the questions that I get all the time. Is there a specific structure to my webinar that you should follow? For those that have done webinars and presented webinars, I think I only had one person that said that, and just wondering whether they have followed a formula with what they have done. And yeah, good. Sandra's done webinars, very cool. And there was a couple, Angelique, I think, has done webinars. So what sort of formula did you follow? And did you follow something? How do I strike a perfect balance between the content and the pitch? There is a percentage wise. And when we look at our presentation, we've said tonight it'll be I said an hour and a half. We try and get it into about an hour and 10 minutes. Never go over the time. Make sure that you go under the time. It's people don't want to be there for much longer than they've already allocated that particular time. But there is a structure. When we put this together, we've said this thing's going to take this many minutes, this will take this many minutes, this will take this many minutes. And so making sure that you don't run out of time to get to your pitch at the end. That's where I see a lot of speakers and a lot of people on webinars do exactly that. They give too much content and they miss out on the opportunity to do what they're there for, and that's to help people work with them. How do you transition smoothly from teaching to selling mode? Well, hopefully we will show you how to do that very soon. And how long does the webinar need to be? Well, I just mentioned it. I see someone said they were online and watched a webinar for 2 hours. That's a very long time to be on a webinar. But again, depends on the content and depends on what you're doing. Yeah. And Angelique, very cool. Yeah, had a formula. Beautiful. And starting your presentation. So we had title slide and you're about to discover. Now, that was what we had that webinar, the funnel slide and the problems that you might, if you've incurred these problems before when you've run webinars. So that gets people engaged into, okay, this is for me. I'm following that through. Who am I? That's following that. Front load results and future casts. So these are the results that you have had before, because people want to hear about results and they want to know that if it's worked for somebody else, it's going to work for them. And the promise of what you're going to be teaching people and what they're going to learn throughout the webinar. And before we go any further, as I mentioned, take notes. Ask the questions at the end. Set up how you want the webinar to run. You might be comfortable having questions throughout. It's not something I would suggest you doing because it throws your flow out if you're having questions at the end. But getting people to participate with the chat room is a great way to do it. Oh, Chantal, this is what your special offer.
I just want to talk a bit about what you said earlier. I want everyone to know that I was an 11 ummer. My children used to count my ums. And 11 ums is what I used to do. So just know that you'll get there in the end. I'm now like a 1 ummer instead of an 11 ummer. But learning to pause certainly does help, and especially for a fast talker like me, that pausing and that taking that time to breathe. But you just got to get on with it. Just get on with it and do it. So here is my 5-step webinar sales formula. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where you had that little pretty picture where it said, yeah, you just get the registration and the confirmation email and blah, blah, blah. But this is actually what is involved. All right. And this is the exact process that we go through. So number one is you've got to get people to sign up. And this is by using social media, emails, picking up the phone and calling people. So many times people don't want to use good old-fashioned phone calls. And I'm sorry, but picking up the phone and actually connecting with people and prospects or interests is really beneficial. Using your cheerleaders. So if there's people out there who already know, like, and trust you, getting them to share your content is really important, along with your referral partners. So those are people that are not in competition with you, but have the same audience as you. You could also have other lead magnets like challenges, so bringing people in through a challenge or another lead magnet, or even go to a speaking event and having a speaking event or a workshop, which is then a lead into your actual webinar or event. Opt-ins, they are other lead generators, and of course, having a registration page.
Chantal, I'm just going to butt in here. This is what everyone's going to get a copy of this at the end. So don't bother writing it down and probably not go through all the parts, but they'll all get a copy of this for staying on, hey?
Yeah, 100%. We'll send this out to you.
Yeah.
And this is the exact process that I use myself and teach with my clients.
Yeah.
So number two is you've got to get people to show up. Like I said, it's one thing to get people registered, but another thing to get show up. And I think the average rate is something like 25% of people show up. So show ups is really important. So we've got to get people to register. You have to send them a calendar invite. There's nurture sequence to compel them or show them the value in actually attending. Having those email reminders, getting people excited about it, handling any objections that there might be about attending. I know I had a couple of people message today and go, is it going to be recorded? Will they get the recording? You can also use text or bots, and I can talk to you about that at another stage, because there's some pros and cons. Like, that's a much bigger topic to go into with regards to text and bots. And then having a show up bonus. So showing up bonuses are really important. So for today, for example, you're all going to be getting this emailed out to you. Number three is obviously creating this winner webinar, okay? A webinar that's actually going to win for you. So it's all about your delivery. It's about the process, the structure, getting people engaged. It's about your desire and us fulfilling that desire. It's about commitment, your belief in this process, handling objections again, which is really important. And we talk about the importance of that in your marketing, handling those objections. Having a desirable offer. So an offer that someone actually desires and is prepared to pay for. That is really important. And I spend a lot of time working with clients to come up with that offer. Having those fast action bonuses, meaning that, if you sign up now, because people love FOMO, fear of missing out, you sign up now, you're going to get this fast action bonus. That's important to have that. And of course, it's all about increased value. Number four is all in the follow-up. Okay, so again, it's about making sure that you deliver on your promises and you give people those show up bonuses, that you send people the offer, that you re-engage people who didn't show up. Like, we had quite a few people register for this event.
Sorry, I was jump over. I rested my hand on the mouse.
No resting. So making sure that you follow up on the people who didn't attend, because they may have a genuine reason for not attending. So you don't treat them as if, they're not interested anymore. They still warm, and it's important for you to follow up with them. Email them through the offer. Make sure that you send them through to a sales page which has compelling content. And I know that there's a specific formula that I go through when setting up people's sales pages, so that you get a yes, 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 and they say yes at the end of the sales page. And then, of course, making sure you have an opportunity for them to pay a payment plan, especially if it's a big offer. If it's anything over sort of $500, you most certainly want to make sure that you have a payment plan available. Number five then is the nurture sequence. And again, Daryl, I saw there, he loves the F word like me. He loves follow up and follow through. A lot of leads are left on the table. People keep going and looking for the new ones when there's people right there that are warm, but they're not getting warmed up to become hot. So nurture sequences are important, nurturing those people and re-engaging them rather than going, well, you didn't show up, you said no, just leaving them and go look for a completely cold person when you can actually nurture those people, re-engage those people, handle their objections, get them excited, show them some social proof, some testimonials, connect with them. A little clock, a little countdown timer can also compel people to take action. Again, it's about that sales page and then the onboarding. So
I'm just keen to get on to the next part. I take my hand off that mouse.
Janeen is bossing you around today.
Where you get to go through a whole lot of stuff here, Chantal.
So this is the yucky stuff, right? Okay, so the marketing stuff I like, and I love social media because really it is just about talking to people about what it is that you do and how you can help them. So that's why I love social media. And for me, it's not really marketing, but the techie side of stuff can be a little bit more challenging. And that's why I like to make it super, super simple. So a lot of people don't realize, but Google My Business, I mean, Google's #1 in the world, okay? Facebook's #2. So a lot of people forget about Google My Business and what they can do with Google My Business. And obviously, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Facebook, there are 3.8 billion active users, and so many people are spending money. And I've grown my entire business without paying for ads through Facebook marketing. So if your audience is on there, Facebook is a fantastic way to be able to market and get people to show up when you know how to use it, and you know how to communicate to your audience on it. Instagram, if you've got a younger demographic, it's a lot more picture-based. And of course, it's very hashtag dominant. So we'll be able to show you that as well. LinkedIn, very much for the B2B space. So engaging people through LinkedIn can be part of your method. And LinkedIn also has an event section like Facebook and Google My Business where you can actually market your events. And of course, video marketing is incredibly important part of your business. Whether or not you just want to use videos, whether or not you want to create little GIFs, whether or not you want to actually do lives, or even if you want to get real fancy and do something like create reels, they can be a great way to engage your audience and get them to show up and spend. So it can all be all consuming. The good news is that you only need to go where your audience is. Okay. So I'm not on Snapchat. I've got branding consistency on Twitter, but at the end of the day, I focus on the platforms where my audience are, and I put my time and my energy into the platforms that produce actual clients. So number 4 is, again, okay, the registration part of it. So we're now going to get people to register for it. Like I said, there's a various amount of platforms that you can use. You can use something like Google Meet, which is also free. You can use Zoom if it's under 40 minutes. However, you've got to go to Zoom Pro if you want people to be able to register, which I think is super awesome because they literally can register through Zoom and get a calendar invite and it gets added to their calendar. You can also use things like Eventbrite and Humanitics. Eventbrite has got a phenomenal email marketing aspect to it, but whatever platforms you do choose to use for your business, make sure that you know how to use them and go and explore them and get to know them real well. Having a system in place is really important. You basically, every time you want to run a webinar, you just want to be able to tell your VA what to do, or you just want to go and you want to set it up and do it and make sure that it all works. So have a system in place that works. And of course, automations. So for example, there was an email that went out one day before, there was an email that went out an hour before, giving you the link to sign up for this. And there's an email scheduled for tomorrow at the end of this webinar. So I don't have to worry about it. I can get up tomorrow morning, go for my run, take the dogs for the run, go to the beach, have my acai bowl, ease into my day. And I know that my emails have already been automated and are getting sent out. Payment options. You need to get people to take payments straight away. So either you can create a sales page on your website. The particular link that I'm using for tonight's one is a platform that is called Thrivecart. Anyone can use Square or Stripe or PayPal. There's pros and cons and there's fees attached to each of them, which of course I'm happy to go over with you more in detail at a later stage. Your website. Your website is a great place for you to create a sales page. It can be a landing page or a sales page. Again, it should have good, compelling content. Take them through a process so that you get a yes at the end and people can simply put in their details and pay and purchase your offer. I don't want you to get despondent. If you don't have a website, there are a lot of free tools that you can use. So for example, if you've got something like MailChimp, they have landing pages in there. So you don't have to have a website. You can just set up a landing page. In fact, Canva now has a makeshift URL, kind of like a link tree that you can use as a sales page, and you can put a payment link in there. You could do the old-fashioned direct messaging where you could simply direct message someone, send them the link, or else give them your BSBN account number and take payment that way. So there are different things. It's not one size fits all, and you certainly there is a way for everyone. And bots. So there are pros and cons to bots, and that's another huge conversation. There is an expense around it. It does need to be done correctly, and bots can actually upset the organic algorithms of your profiles if they're done incorrectly. So I don't want you to get too concerned about that, but a lot of the email systems actually do have an automatic text system. So you can actually automatically send text to people through your emails, which we can find quite effective as well. So at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that you've got the right software in place, that you understand the top technology that you're doing, you have automations in place, and basically you've got a simple system that's easy for you to follow and easy for your clients to use. So how do you put it all together so people show up and spend? Because it's like right now, everybody's going, oh my gosh, that's so much. I just want to outsource it. Well, no, you don't. You can simply do it yourself, because if I can, anybody can. But you do want to have marketing email sequences. And again, it's just an email sequence is a series of emails that are done in a logical order to effectively communicate to prospects to develop their know, like, and trust, to get them to say yes and to purchase. Okay. Again, you want to make sure that you have registration emails in place so that when they do sign up, they get a registration email, they get a follow-up email, they get a link sent to them. Yeah, you've just got to have those processes set in place. Again, those nurture sequences, just making sure that they do actually show up. Reminder emails. Yeah, there's just, you can automate this. And once you've got the process, it's really simple. A thank you email, like I said, I've got that automated for tomorrow. The thank you email will go out. The follow-up emails to re-engage those people who didn't show up. There we go, re-engagement email for those who didn't show up. Yeah, you want to make sure that they're all done. And once you've got those templated, you can simply use them the next time round.
And that's the thing, isn't it, Chantal? That's how we can help people, is get the templates. So it's not, oh my gosh, this is so much to do. It's sort of done for you, really. You just slot in the information depending on which webinar that you're running. Yeah,
100%. And there we go. Rinse, repurpose, repeat, and review. And that's literally what you do. Have a look at the webinars. You just go through the process. You gain more confidence in the process, tweak it a lot of the way, refine it along the way. And but it's all there. It's just built and it's just done. Rinse, repeat.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I put this photo in because I liked it, Chantal.
I like it.
About the world, isn't it? I mean, that's the beauty of webinars.
Yeah, look, 100%. At the end of the day, you can work from anywhere in the world. You can reach anyone in the world, work from anywhere in the world, and just be able to help and benefit so many more people. Angelique's asked a question. I will answer that question over here. A lot of coaches will say to you to create an evergreen webinar. And I'm actually going to throw this back to the audience. Who here has ever taken the time to watch a recording of a webinar and not watch the live? Yeah. I have registered for an evergreen. I very rarely actually watch a recorded webinar. So it's up to you, but I most certainly prefer one that's engaging, prefer one where I can answer my questions. But what's really good is that once you do a live webinar, you can record that, you can tweak it or edit it, and then you can change it into an evergreen.
Yeah, absolutely. So most people are saying that they have watched a replay. I know I have watched a replay. I much prefer them live because, like you, I like to be there to ask the questions. But yeah. I have watched replays when they haven't been convenient for me to be on, and I've intentionally registered knowing that I was going to get the replay sent to me as well. So that's an important fact. And that's the beauty of webinars, is you record it. You know what? I don't edit mine at all. I might cut off some of the questions at the end are usually really important questions for everyone to hear as well. So, yeah, I really edit mine. All right, how do you put it all together so people show up and spend? This is an important part. How to have a call to action and your offer. You need to be very, very clear about what your offer is and what you're going to be able to give people. I mean, like everyone's been on enough of these webinars. You know that when we get to the offer, we're going to go, here, you get this, 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 and this, and this, and this is all you have to pay. And that's how most people will throw that offer at the end, because they're really high value, but they're a great price. That is the advantage of turning up to a webinar, is to be able to take up those offers straight away and be able to say yes to them. How to ask for money? We've talked a bit about this all the way through, and it's again I'd just really like to see some yeses in there. Has anyone got something good that will change people's lives or help them make more money or help them in business, and got some sort of skill or product or that will be an advantage to somebody? I want some yeses. Yeah. That's what you're doing. You're not selling, you're providing a service for people to help them. And the thing is, when I work with people in sales, really getting stuck into that sales conversation is all about that. Why wouldn't you tell people about it? Why wouldn't you get excited about the offer and what you can give to people? Because you know that it's going to help make someone's life easier, help them be more successful, help them be better health, depending on what you're doing. So you're not asking for money, you're providing a way for people to work with you and get those benefits. How do you take money? Chantal's taken a little bit on that as well, making it really easy. And we'll show you, you just have a link usually that someone can go to straight away. How do you get people to take action then and there? Well, you need to have something that is only available then and there. And I do this when I run some of my sales webinars, and I offer a 3 days training all day with me in a small group. And I know there's a couple of people online that have participated in those trainings. And that is a huge value thing, but you only get it when you take action then and there. And so finding something that you've got that'll be very exclusive to do that, but it's got to be of really high value. Who will this work for? Now, we sat down and went through a list, didn't we, Chantal, of all the people that we thought that this might work for, running webinars. And I'm sure people can see themselves on there. If not, there's other industries that, and someone just had a chef on there that they watched a long webinar. So I don't think we've got that on there, Chantal.
Oh, we do, personal chefs. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I see it. Yeah. So it's for running webinars for anyone. I don't think it matters what business you're in, what industry you're in. It's a way for you to get to your information to a lot more people.
Yeah, I've got a soccer coach at the moment. So there we go. We've got sports coaches, soccer coaches at the moment doing training through a webinar or webinar funnel to do coaching for kids that are homeschooling now and need soccer coaching. I've got wine tasting. I've got product photographers that have done webinars.
Yeah, I've got someone working cryptocurrency. I've got an accountant to help put webinar together for them. You know, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you want to, help rather selling one to many than one to one, then a webinar is certainly one of the best ways for a funnel to do that, because you're in front of someone for an hour and a half. You've got the opportunity to demonstrate that your authority, you saw that word come up a few times, that you are an expert in your field and that they can build that know, like, and trust with you. Whereas if you're sending out emails or, randomly online, it takes a lot longer to build that trust. Whereas on a webinar, you can do that in that hour. So what do we got here, Chantal? What have we covered so far?
So in review, we've gone through how to use the webinar funnel to grow your business, how to create a high energy presentation, why you must follow a formula and a proven process. And that's super important, because honestly, you don't want to waste your time. The whole formula and process can take, 4 to 6 weeks. to be able to put together and do. And at the end, you don't want no one to show up, and you certainly don't want to make no sales. Step number 4 was how to market and set up the tech side of your webinar, and how to put it all together so people actually show up and they spend money.
Yeah, so who's got some good content? We've still got a little bit more to go. We're going to talk about how often how you can work with, but who has got some good content? Who's taken lots of notes?
I'd love to know, those that have done a webinar, what was the title of the webinar that you presented, or the webinar that you want to present? Put the title that you'd like to, the title of one that you've done or that you'd like to do in the chat box, because that title's super important. And there's no wrong or right, there's just better.
No, and I'll keep an eye on that as we go through this. And that's the other question, is what are you going to apply immediately? Vibrational cleansing masterclass, cool. What are you going to apply immediately? And if you want to throw that in the chat box as well, something that you've learned tonight.
And what more do you need to know? Like, what do you think that you still need to know more of in order to be able to make this happen for you, to make an income producing webinar funnel for your business?
So we're going to look here. This is Chantal. I'm stumbling over my words because I got thrown by the slide. I wasn't sure what we were up to. Good on you, Janeen. We're running a 2-day boot camp, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about that coming up. And at that 2-day boot camp, you are going to receive a step-by-step instructions by 2 industry experts. I think hopefully you've figured out we're pretty good at what we do now, and we are industry experts on how to implement the strategy to build your webinar funnel right now.
The great thing with this boot camp, and you know I've got a fitness background, so I love the word boot camp. There is going to be work involved at the boot camp. No burpees, but you will be doing work. But we're going to be able to find more of your audience online, and this is my word, we're going to turn them into believers.
I love that.
I changed Janeen's slide.
When it came back edited, I thought, oh, that's very cute. I absolutely love that. So tell me about the boot camp.
Yeah, so we're going to, the boot camp is literally, we're going to be doing a workout on 2 days. It's a 2-day boot camp, which is Friday the 18th and the 25th of February, 2022. I can't believe we're there, here on the Gold Coast, which is super, super exciting. And we're really, really excited. So we'll be here at a workspace. We can only have 10 people in the room. So due to COVID and due to the fact that we are physically going to be putting together an entire webinar funnel, which includes everything that we've just discussed today, so that you leave and it's made and it's done at the end of the two-day boot camp. So 18th and 25th, they are Fridays on February, and the total cost of that, the value of that is $3,735.
Yeah, and again, the 10 people is, we just in our heads, so we're trying to figure out how we're going to do it with any more people than that, and we don't want anyone to miss out, so we made sure it is 10. Limit is absolutely 10. And you're going to get full support with one-on-one sessions. That's an extra bonus, isn't it, Chantal? I know.
Oh, this is huge. I was reading Jace's comment about burpees because I do love burpees, but I don't believe that they are for everyone. Sorry, Jace, I got very excited.
You got distracted on the slides. The one sessions. Tell me about those, Chantal.
Yeah, so one-on-one session with 2 experts, and you will only get burpees if you like them. But no, at the end of the day, because we only have 10 in the room, and because we are very passionate about bespoke coaching, so specific personalized coaching towards every industry and every business owner that we work with, you're going to get one-on-one session with each of us. So a one-on-one with Janeen to go over the presentation and take advantage of all her expertise. So you get that feedback. You know, when you're in business and you're doing stuff and you get stuck and you're not sure which way to go, we're not only going to help you create it over the 2 days, but you're going to get the one-on-one expert opinion and feedback as well. With myself, I'll be doing the marketing plan. With Janeen, she'll be going over the presentation with you. And the value of that is $694. I think it's life-changing, but that's just me.
Yeah. And also with that, Chantal, that's after we've done the 2-day boot camp, so that you've got everything, put together, and then you come to us and we'll go, okay, let's fine tune it for you. And we work one-on-one personally with you, not in a group.
100%. Like, that is insane. You just don't get that with coaching anymore. You just get a program and you get to run off with it. No, you're actually going to get us helping you through it. So this is just some of Janeen. So Janeen, these are her two lovely ladies over here. We tripled our volume. We found Janeen's training was exactly what we needed, enabling us to achieve our personal objectives and get us to Vegas, which is super, super exciting when you work with a coach, being able to achieve those results.
Yep, purely through their presentation. 100% was done with that, was changing up their presentation. And Chantal, this is really cool as well. And I love that he booked 6 hours of coaching time and paid 100% upfront from having run that sort of training, and another organic lead come from watching online activity on Facebook. So this is about that Facebook marketing and just how really good. And I know there's quite a few people online here that work with Chantal and know just how great she is with the information that she gives you to be able to be successful in doing whatever you're doing to promote your webinar and your business.
So, plus we want to reward you if you've already made up your mind. So you'll be happy to hear that there's even more bonuses.
This is my favorite part, bonuses. So bonus number 1, this is really cool. It's my book. And I know there's a couple of people online that might have a copy of Good Girls Do Sell. I usually say for Good Girls Do Sell, it's for women or smart men. I'm really not fussy who reads it. But it is, you'll get a hard copy posted to you in the mail. If you've already got a copy, you can have a copy of my other book, Being Unstoppable. And Chantal?
Bonus 2. So you're
reading all those questions.
I know, I'm so distracted. Bonus 2 is my online do-it-yourself Facebook marketing program, and it's lifetime access to it. And when Facebook changes, I actually update the training. So you get access to my backend, you get your own login details, you get the do-it-yourself Facebook and Facebook ads program, 2 separate programs showing you exactly what to do on Facebook, and with the Facebook ads program showing you exactly how Facebook advertising works. And the value of that is $997, and you'll get access to that as well.
Very cool. I want access to that.
You still don't have access to it.
And bonus number 3 is you get access to my Direct Sales Mastery online program. Now, I've been running this program for about 5 years, gone through hundreds of people, gone through it, and have had amazing results in just the way they change their belief in themselves about sales and how they go through the program. Once you've got access to it, you've got access to it for life. I've had people change businesses and gone back in and participated in the program again, and that's valued at $657.
And then the webinar funnel marketing roadmap cheat sheet, and there's actually quite a few of these. So I like a visual. I'm a visual person, and I like simple things, and I like a plan. So you will get there's actually a lot more than just this one. There's a couple of cheat sheets and templates as well, which literally you can have. So you can wake up and go look at the webinar checklist and go, right, tick, tick, tick. That's how I come up with my name. That's how I price my offer. That's how I market my offer. And yeah, it's actually valued at a lot more than $297.
Yeah, absolutely. So you will
learn how to use social media and email to promote your event without paying for ads. I cannot say this enough. Like, if you want to put ad spend on it, by all means, go ahead. But for example, Damien at the moment is getting 90 to 120 people attending his webinars right now, and that is without paying for advertising. Number 2 is you'll be able to effectively communicate and compel action through your marketing content plan. So I'm actually going to help you with your words. I'm going to help you communicate what it is that you have. And that is super powerful because once you have those words, you can simply take those words and use them in your marketing. Social media event management. So like I said, Google My Business has an event section, LinkedIn has an event section, Facebook has an event section, and of course through your email marketing as well. But I'll show you how to use the social media event features. Price and taking payment. So we will go over creating that desirable offer and how to take payment and how to price it. And of course, showing you how to set up the webinar event, the registration and automation system. So whatever platforms you prefer, whatever your preference is, I will give you pros and cons to, well, we will give you pros and cons to everything and show you some of the ways that you can do it. And then from there, we will help you actually set up that whole webinar event registration and automation.
And what I'm going to do is help you create a persuasive presentation. So it'll be something that you can just rinse and repeat over and over and over again. And through all of that marketing that Chantal will be helping me with, but how to get people to show up, stay and spend, which is really important. And how to sell without feeling pushy, because that's the thing that we use the word icky early on. You don't want to feel pushy. You'll learn how to present with confidence and authority, and knowing that your product is of high value to somebody and that they are willing to give you some money for it. Now, how to follow up and follow through after the webinar, whether it is a yes or no. That's such an important factor. It's not just what we're here doing tonight, it's everything that you follow up with. And using some time-saving templates and tools. Both Chantal and I are very much into anything that saves us time, so she can get to the beach, I can get out in my caravan, and we can not be sitting in front of a computer doing things are automated. So here's what you get all together. This is a list. It's important to pay attention to this because a lot of people ask me at the end again, what do we get? You get the 2-day boot camp, so 2 days with us in February. You get a copy of Good Girls to Sell. You get the online DIY Facebook and Facebook ads program. You get access to the Direct Sales Mastery online program, and you get the webinar funnel marketing roadmap cheat sheet. All of that value, for people that have bought these things before know that that's exactly what that's valued at, is $6,113 totally. I got my calculator out and that's how much it added up to.
But of course, you will not pay that much today.
Oh, no.
Can you build an effective webinar sale process any other way? I mean, that's the question. Can you do it by yourself? You could pay big money for another online course you don't complete. I mean, how many courses have you downloaded? How many things have you bought and you actually haven't implemented? And it doesn't speak specifically to you, and you're not held accountable. So everyone knows I'm a bit of a whip girl. I'll bring out my whip and I'm very accountable and make sure that you get it done. And you could even spend years learning how to do it. People that have tried to do a webinar, I know when I first started with mine, I think it took me about a year to do it because I created like 1 slide a week for like a year. So could spend years doing this. You could muddle your way through it and not even completely understand the process of the marketing, the setup, or whether or not it's actually going to make a sale. The fact is there simply is no comparison. So the value of that is $6,113. And for the next 15 minutes, of course, you only have to pay $997 or 16 weekly payments of $97. So there is the payment plan option. And of course, a simple link. And you can see that I've used the registration on the sales page that I've used for this particular one is called Thrivecart. Which, and I can go over that if you want to know why I chose that for this one. It's simple. You can just set up a simple landing page for it. And I will put the link in the...
yes, please.
I'll put the link in the chat box for you. If you click it, just check if it works, but it should click and open up in a browser and it'll take you to a sales page, which has that offer on there for you.
Now, we mentioned the 1 hour private coaching with the experts. That is our mega bonus for being on here tonight. And that is only available, as I said, we're running this webinar again. I think it's the 1st of February. So if the 10 places go before then, well, then we won't even be running that other webinar, but it's the first 10 people in, and that's the extra bonus that you get being on here tonight, is that 1 hour private coaching with each of us. And that was valued at $694 or something on the other page, but now it's $653. Either way, it's a lot of value for it. And with me, you get to learn how to speak for profit. You get your presentation audited. And for Chantal, you get a deep dive into your online marketing. So that is one-on-one coaching. That is just, and it says mega bonus. It's absolutely a mega bonus. And we just wanted to make sure that if you joined the program, you got so much value that you're going to walk away and you're going to tell hundreds of other people, go, this is amazing. I can't believe how much value I got. So adding all that up, whatever the dollar thing came to before, it's over $6,700 worth of value for $997. That's all it is. Or you can make 16 weekly payments if that's easier for you. Again, it is only for the first 10 people that take it up for the room size. Plus, we couldn't physically work with people so intensely, more than 10 people doing this course. So I'll value any questions with anything there at all. We'd love to get your questions now, wouldn't we, Chantal?
Yeah, that's awesome. And I cannot wait to have a look at your back end, to have a look at your social media platforms, because usually when I sit down and I deep dive into someone's social media, I can find things where they simply haven't set it up correctly, where they're not, they're actually losing out on the organic traction and reach. So I cannot wait to not only help you create this webinar funnel and create this income opportunity for you, but also to be able to have a look at your back end social media and find out, what is holding you back from success, from making a profit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to stop sharing this. You've got the link there. So just a reminder, it's the 2-day boot camp. It's all of those super extra bonuses. And it is also the 2 one-on-one coaching sessions with us for that nearly $7,000 worth of value for $997, again for the first 10 people. So if you haven't been getting the traction on your webinars, this is such an important thing to do. And I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to have everyone's beautiful faces come on. And oh, look at that. I did say 8:30, but we finished about 15:15. We're pretty good on time. That's the first time we've done that together, Chantal. So how do we go, guys? Did we work okay together? Feedback there. Excellent. Now questions. We'd love to answer your questions. And stop recording there too, Chantal, if you like.
Yeah, thank you.